From Forex Traders Daily, this is your daily analysis with Ross Mullins, live from Richmond, Virginia.
Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for April 7, 2017. Today we're going to be taking a review of each of the U.S. currency pairs in anticipation of today's news, non-farm payrolls, coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, about 40 minutes from the recording of this video. Now, earlier this week we did get some news that may point to a positive number today. On Wednesday, we had ADP non-farm numbers come out, and they were positive, exceeding the expectations. Yesterday, on Thursday, we had unemployment claims that were lower. So all of that points to a potential that we get positive number today. A positive number looks for the potential boost of the U.S. dollar, especially if we get significant positive data today. It could be a boost for the U.S. dollar. Now, negative, if it's surprisingly negative given what we've seen earlier in the week, then we could see an exact opposite and a sell-off of the U.S. dollar. So let's think about all that as we review each currency pair. We'll start here with the dollar franc. We've seen four different trends throughout the year, throughout this year so far. The black trend line January, red trend line February, blue trend line March, and now the green trend line, we go into April with a little bit of upside momentum here for the dollar franc. The question, of course, will be, if we get that positive news, will we see that upside momentum continue, or is it going to be not strong enough and cause this to sell off a little bit? We zoom in a couple of times here on the daily time frame. We can see the green trend line has been going up. We're right underneath the 100 period moving average. That's important, I think, as resistance, and then of course a break, a continuation. That's right around the 1.006075 level, that yellow shaded area. 1, 2, 3 days finding resistance there. Over the past couple of days, we have also found support into 0030, 1.0010, the pink shaded area. So if you're looking to buy based on positive news for the U.S., it would be obviously better to buy at the pink zone, which we're not there. Next thing we're going to look for is a break above the yellow zone. Now, on the other side, if it becomes negative and starts to sell off, we look for the market to fall off the yellow zone or potentially break under the pink zone and a reversal back down again for the dollar franc. So those are the key areas that you want to watch today. The yellow, the pink, right there, the 100 period moving average. We are in an uptrend, so positive news could see this continue that upside momentum for the dollar franc. Moving over to the euro dollar, similar yet opposite. You see the same trend lines for each month so far in 2017. Let's zoom it in a couple of times here. You see the market coming down even today. First time really breaking through that green shaded area, which was 1.067555. We've been sitting in there most of the week. Yesterday, we finally started to inch our way underneath it. We came down to the pink shaded area. We spoke about that as a possibility in the trade room yesterday. So right now, the pink zone is holding as your support. That is 1.0620, 0605. Of course, a positive number again for the U.S. could see this break through the 100 period moving average, continuing the bearish momentum and the pink shaded area and continuing to go down to lower levels into the 1.05s. Reversal, negative number, and a reversal here for the euro. We would likely need to see it get back above 1.0675, the green shaded area, before it would reverse and go back above the green trend line. So the green shaded area, the pink shaded area are your key components today for the euro dollar. Positive news, we could see this go lower below the 100 period moving average. Negative, if it's surprisingly negative, we could see the break back above the green trend line, green shaded area, and reversal once again for the euro dollar. Moving over to the GBPUSD, we've been discussing the wider pattern here on the daily time frame and the daily trade room, the black trend lines that you see here. And of course, the other trend lines that bounce around between the two black trend lines, the fall, the rise, the fall, the rise, and now we're starting to see some maybe characteristics of reversal and a fall again for the GBPUSD. Zooming in on that black box right there, you see the green trend line showing you falling highs within that pattern right now. So the falling highs, fairly steady lows right here into the yellow shade here, 1.2400, 2410. So we know where the areas we want to focus in on. Look at this, 100 period moving average right on top of the 2410 level. So for the day today, this is clearly your support, and it needs to break down underneath that yellow zone if you're going to see it continue to go lower. That would be the implication of the green trend line, is that we have a more bearish or dominantly bearish pattern setting up here, lower highs, and if it can break through that yellow zone in the 124 level, we'll look for the continuation lower. That needs positive data out of the US today to make that happen. Negative data or a negative sentiment after NFP, we could see this break back above the orange zone, the green line, and challenge once again the highs up towards the 126 level for the GBPUSD today. Now, moving over to the dollar CAD, this is a little bit of a different beast today because we have not only the U.S. news, we have Canadian employment data coming out at the same time. So there could be extreme volatility on this currency pair. So in all cases, you should be using appropriate risk strategies. We are in a trade from yesterday at 1.3420. I've been having to ride this one out a little bit. It's entirely up to you whether you stay with the trade or get out of the trade. If you're using appropriate risk strategies, that really shouldn't matter. You might want to just go ahead and hold through it. If it's positive news, we see this go up, and that would be a benefit for the trade. Negative news, of course, sends it lower. Let's take a look. I have shifted the blue shaded area around a little bit from yesterday's trade room location. The blue shaded area, 1.3410, 1.3390. So if we're going to see support, that's where we expect to see it. If we're going to see it go up, we expect it to go up from here. Targeting the green zone, of course, as your first resistance, but of course, significant resistance in the last resistance high here at the yellow shaded area into the low 1.35s. Now, a negative move, of course, we could see this reverse and go back in the other direction. Let's watch for it to stay above 134 today and maybe make that move finally towards the 3475 or even into the 3500 level for the USCAD today. But extreme volatility because news out of both countries today. Moving over to the USDJPY, this one, we had a trade going from yesterday. We saw over 20 pips. The trade manager took us out with break even. You can see the little red arrow in the buy that we set up there, 110.85. It closed at, again, 110.85, so break even. So we got out of that trade on a little bit of a spike higher. I'm out of it right now, waiting for the next move on today's news. Let's go ahead and zoom it in one more time. Take a look at this box. We've been discussing this range in the black box. We've been discussing the pink shaded area. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 days now stuck inside this pink zone. We've seen spikes above it, spikes below it as the market is jockeying for a position here. Positive data, we could see this take another run and even a challenge of the top of our range at the green shaded area into the 112 level. Negative news, of course, we could finally see the breakdown and the continuation of the downtrend underneath the yellow zone and the 110 level. So we're clearly watching for what's the news going to do to this currency pair today. On ADP on Wednesday, we saw it push higher towards the blue zone and then kind of sank back down into the pink zone. So the pink zone is kind of our breaking point. Above it goes higher, below it goes lower here for the US yen. But yesterday's trade, again, we got taken out. Let's go ahead and take it down to the 4-hour time frame and zoom it in. Well, let's just squeeze it out like this. There it is. We got in on this candle right here. That's the candle we got in on. It went up all the way to 111.15, got us 20 pips, and then we came back right back down. So we're out of that trade, waiting for the next opportunity here for the US yen. And again, we just been toying around with this pink zone. I think it's much better to look at it on the daily time frame around that pink shaded area. Moving on to the AUDUSD, we have been in a short for this currency pair for much of the week. You can see it down there, 75.85, currently sitting right around 60 pips of profit on the trade. Let's zoom it in here because I want to key in on that 100 period moving average that you see there right in the green zone. Take a look at what happened the last time. We found support there, bounced and turned around and went back up. So the green shaded area will be a key player today. If it holds there and we get negative sentiment after NFP, we look for this to turn around from the green zone, 7,500 or so, and go back up. If it's significantly positive for the US and we can get this to break down through 7,500, we look for the continuation of the current downtrend as we look for it to go lower. So if you're in the trades from the other day, like I am, lock in profit. I've removed the trade manager. I've locked in profit with a hard stop loss. Let's hope for the breakdown of 7,500 on our news today, the breakdown of that low, and we're probably looking for it down into the mid to low 7,400s on that move. Now, the opposite side, again, we could see a significant pullback, even back towards the 75 or even 7,600, the purple shaded area here, or higher, if it's a negative sentiment after our news today. Next, let's move over to the NZD. Same thing here. We have the trade going over the past several days. 70.10 was the short, currently sitting about 44 pips. We've seen a good bit more than that throughout the life of the trade, but currently sitting 44 pips. Let's go ahead and zoom it in. Blue trend line. Remember that blue trend line as we zoom in. Let's go ahead and take it in. There it is. Look at this, walking right down it all for the past couple of weeks. Last 3 days, we've been just underneath the pink shaded area, 69.70, 69.80. That's the pink zone down here. We've been sitting just underneath that for the past few days. Our short is all the way up here at the orange zone, so we don't want it to get back above the pink zone. If it's a bearish move after NFP, we're back to the yellow zone, 69.50, 69.40. The black box, the bottom of that black box is what we need to see. The breakdown of that, we clearly look for the target all the way back down to the green zone if we can get it to get through the bottom of that black box. The yellow zone, 69.40. We're all the way back down towards 6,900. If it's a negative sentiment, breaks back above the pink zone at 69.80, we could be looking for some reversal for this pair. Take it down to the 4 hour even. And as we get down here, look at this resistance into this pink shaded area. Our current stop loss is locked in, can't lose. We've closed some profit on the trade, can't lose. But we definitely want to see it stay under the pink zone. Positive sentiment for the U.S. We target back down to the yellow zone, which is our last support at the bottom of that black box. And again, a breakdown of the yellow zone. The green zone, way down here at the bottom at 6,900, becomes our target for the New Zealand dollar. And the worst case scenario, negative sentiment. We look for it to get back above the pink zone, take us out at our locked in stop loss, and potential for it to be back at the orange zone or higher for the New Zealand dollar today.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.